talk a little about your history and about the evolution. You start as a pop star. I mean, you your RSO days, you were doing pop songs.
Yeah.
You had hit singles. Now you've evolved to big band. Let's talk about the journey from pop to big band and why make the journey.
Okay. Well, again, I had the first part of my career when Rocky came out, as far as music, standing on the street corner. That was RCA Records. And then after that died, then there was this long period of basically nothing, you know, just playing in clubs. And a big fall from grace, from going from being in a movie that was up for 10 Academy Awards to playing for $30 a night in your same neighborhood in New Jersey. So that was the thing. So I moved to California in '79, okay, and nothing was really going on in '79. And then little things, I had a Joni Mitchell record that I did with Harry Nilsson on Scotty Brothers. Little things, you know, went to like 80 up the charts, but it was at least something, you know. But I was playing locally, and then when my brother, I found out he was doing Saturday Night Fever sequel, Staying Alive, of course, I figured there's not a chance in hell that I'm going to get involved in that because the Bee Gees, you know. And if I'm correct, I think at that time, it still is probably one of the biggest selling records of all time. 26 million double records, you know, it's pretty heavy stuff. So what happened, I drove down on Melrose Avenue to Paramount. I wasn't allowed on the lot, so I had to park on Melrose, and I walked into my brother's office. They just set the office up, and Gary Wright from Dreamweaver was the music supervisor. So here I come in, you know, totally broke, nothing, and this big office. My brother was like 37 or something, but this big office, everyone's like bowing down. Oh, you know, this whole thing about he's directing Staying Alive, you know. And Travolta was like real fat at that point, really fat. And Sly was there, well, I'm gonna make you look like me. And he did, actually. He almost like became like a spitting image of Sly. And he kind of gave his career back, you know, John. So, make a long story short, the Bee Gees, who I love and adore, I thought they're great, they, you know, were submitting songs, and the demos were great. Really, almost sounded like the old Bee Gees, New York mining disaster and stuff. But then when John heard the finished results, he didn't like it at all. He thought they just overproduced it and stuff. So he insulted them some way and they quit. So that was a bad scene. Having the sequel to Saturday Night Fever with no Bee Gees and having Robert Stigwood as their manager and also the producer of the movie. So come in Frank. I come in the first day, I say, hey man, you think there's like a shot for me in this? He goes, probably not. I said, okay, I'm thinking if I get a 15-second piece of music in it, I could retire if it sold 52 million records. So he said, why don't you just go write some stuff with some of your friends? I said, okay. I read the script, got together with a few guys, started writing stuff, going in a little studio in Silver Lake for like a $20 an hour studio. And we started recording all this stuff. And going forward a little bit, Bee Gees kind of walked off the movie. Disaster. Across the next lot, they're doing Flashdance. Disaster. I mean, this is like two disasters ready to collide, big films. So I wrote all the stuff, and we went to lunch at John's house. And so I said, let me bring this cassette along, my cassette. So he brought along, and we're having lunch, and he said, why don't you listen to this stuff? He didn't tell him it's me. He's listening to it, and I see his face going, because it was real earthy, bluesy, and stuff like that. He goes, this is what I want. I almost choked to death. Seriously, I think I was eating like calamari or something. I almost like choked to death when he said, because I'm figuring I had about $30 to my name. And this is John Travolta saying he likes all my music. That Monday, they start dropping my music in the movie. I ended up with 11 titles in the movie. And most of them were the original tracks I cut. So that happened. All of a sudden, this guy, 33 years old, been in the game for over 20-some years, looks like I'm gonna have a hit record. And all this stuff, then I got signed, that was RSO, like you said. And then it went from there, and then kind of again.